Hi, and welcome to Barnes Dedic Ask the Experts. I'm Kat Jenkins, Marketing Director, and today we're talking ransomware with cybersecurity practice leader Robert Ramsay and intelligent process automation practice leader Mark Wurtenberger. Mark and Robert, thanks for joining us.
Kat, thanks so much for doing this again. And Mark, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, happy to be here. All right, Robert. So why don't you start off with what is ransomware and what are some different ways an attack could occur?
Yeah, ransomware is this virus or software or malware that shows up and encrypts data on your local machine and even on your network that can cripple an enterprise. It can stop a business or a hospital from being able to process data. It can slow down all of their systems. And then the criminals who build this and send it and try to get it on your system then require a ransom. So they want money to give you the key to that encryption to unencrypt the data and give you your data back. It's very tempting to want to pay them to get that back and kind of solve the problem and get back to operating really fast. And the way it comes is quite often in the form of an email, an innocuous kind of a phishing email that you think it's a free certificate for a coffee, and it's really a link to some bad software that starts encrypting your files.
Thanks. And so, given today's working from home environment, what sorts of additional challenges do companies face given the current landscape?
Yeah, there's just a lot more stress on the employee, on the security folks, or the IT professionals trying to support them. Of course, if you're at home, you're probably on a home Wi-Fi that may not be as secure as what you have at work. You may be on a home machine. You may be sharing your machine with family, and you're out of your routine. So you may be clicking on things that you wouldn't normally click on, and you may be working with people who are also at home so that if a fishy email comes in and it's not the same, you might think, oh, well, they're not at the office anymore. And that's why some of this contact information is different. So there are a lot of stresses on people that are making them more susceptible to these things, especially now.
So, what sorts of things can be done to help companies mitigate these attacks?
Yeah, there's three things mostly. One is training, kind of helping your employees to be paranoid, like not clicking on things that they're not absolutely certain are meant for them and are good, healthy parts of their email. Um, a second thing is cyber insurance. So the insurance writers now that cover this, an insurance company can step in and either pay the ransom or pay to help clean up all your systems and machines and get back up and running. And then testing backups. So another solution is to delete all the encrypted stuff that the bad guys have made useless, not pay them, and just restore your data from backups and then continue operating. That requires having a lot of confidence in your backups and testing them and making sure that they're fully available, they're complete, and you can get back up and running quickly.
So, what are some ways we can help clients alleviate these concerns they have with ransomware?
Yeah, we help in a few ways. On our annual kind of audit visits for our audit clients, we'll go through their control environment and ask them about their network security, about their employee security training, about their cybersecurity insurance, about their backups. And we'll kind of talk through those things with them. We'll share stories. We'll ask them if they're concerned about this kind of thing. Speaking of stories, recently a company in our town got the bad guys got inside the network and convinced them to delete their backups. They sent these phishing emails to the IT folks and said, oh, it's time to clean things up. Let's delete those. And then they unleashed the ransomware. So that one layer of defense was gone because they were super clever. So sharing that kind of story and telling people, hey, even if you get an email that says delete the backups, think twice, double check, make sure that's not really what you need. So that's the kind of thing we help by just sharing information and sharing support with others. We also help with kind of special projects or internal audit efforts where we'll test backups or we'll help with the training to make sure the training is consistent and complete and what people need. There's different types of training depending on if HIPAA applies, if they're in healthcare or other sectors. So we'll help with training, we'll help with backups, and that kind of thing. So that's what we help people with.
Good to know. And then, so a lot of this information is new to folks out there. what resources do you recommend for the non-technology people to get up to speed in this area?
Yeah, it's funny. There's information coming at us from all over. And I know IT people, we've got our own favorite sort of feeds and industry sources. But for leaders or executives or just people that are non-technical, I like to kind of, especially if they're readers or get audiobooks, I like to, if they can find a story or something that's interesting that also weaves in some technology information. And there's two that are kind of related to this. One is called Ghost in the Wires. It's a Kevin Mitnick memoir. He was kind of an older super hacker that the FBI was chasing. It was back when you paid for long distance, so he was trying to hack for free long distance, and um, he he um, he got into like the FBI's phone system, and they were in his phone system, and they were like hacking each other's voicemails. He knew when they were coming, and he left like a plate of donuts on the table, and then he left his apartment, and they came in. And so there's all kinds of funny stories woven in, but you learn to be really paranoid because what he was very good at was convincing people, like kind of this phishing concept, that he was a good guy on their side and to give him their information, confidential information. And I learned from reading that I, as paranoid as I am, and I do this for a living, I could fall for that. There could be a system where if he spent months kind of connecting with my peers or people I'm connected with, and then he made an ask of me to do something, and I confirmed with someone else that he'd already talked to, that he'd convinced of them that he was trusted, that it's possible. So that's one that I like. It's kind of amusing. It's like got a little spy versus spy to it. And then it does kind of remind you that what the bad guys think of and how they plan before they do this kind of thing. The other one is a little nerdier. It's called Countdown to Zero Day. It's about the virus, the Stuxnet virus that the US special services agencies and Israel unleashed on Iran and the Iranian nuclear facilities. And it's a virus, but it caused their facilities to blow up. Like it sabotaged their uranium enrichment. And it's written by a reporter from the angle of evidence that's coming to the general public from this virus showing up at antivirus places. So like McAfee, they see this virus, but it doesn't hurt a laptop or a regular machine. And so they're investigating. And so the story, it's a true story of them kind of trying to figure out what it does and realizing that, hey, this is $1 million software. Who would have done this and why? And then at the same time, weird things are going on in Iran's nuclear energy facilities. The International Atomic Energy Agency is there and seeing things go awry, and they don't know why. And so I think it's an interesting story if you're interested in any of that stuff, the technology or the international relations. And then it kind of explains kind of a little bit how the virus works, how antivirus detects it, and what vulnerabilities there are in our systems. So those are a couple things that I like to share.
All right, Robert and Mark, fantastic. There's some great information there. We know that this is a rapidly growing risk. If you have questions or would like to learn more about ransomware or would like to talk to one of our professionals, visit barnesdenig.com. You can set up a conversation or reach out via email. We're always happy to help. And we'll see you next time on Ask the Experts.